So I was watching the new Sword Art Online, and I noticed that they're still trying to get Yui back into the view of things, and Kirito goes on to a whole bunch of things like artificial senses, artificial stuff, all that stuff that we're nowhere near yet. And, well, so many people are like with them, yeah, they should bring Yui into this life, and yeah, but one thing I just want to point out is that she's artificial intelligence, meaning that she's not technically real. She could be wiped from the program at any moment. But what's worse is that they're trying to give her this physical body, which we've seen happen in so many other series, so many other things, and yet they want to still continue to do this. So they, by doing this, you're basically bringing on a bunch of bad shit to happen. I can explain this much better with examples, things like that explain this sort of what bad could come from giving an AI a free-thinking personality. Go look into Portal. A free-thinking personality and a body. Look at Portal. That's a very realistic representation of what would happen if we were to give AI a personality, an artificial intelligence, and everything like that. It would just go wrong. Artificial intelligence lack one thing that human beings do. The reason in Portal that GLaDOS murdered everybody in the facility was so that she could continue on with her job, or where her roots came from from HAL 9000, from 2001: A Space Odyssey. She was doing her job. She ran out of patients to test on, so she started using the professors and the scientists and all these people in the facility. But she eventually ran out of people again. So anybody who would step foot in there was stepping foot into a death trap. Was setting foot into their death, unless you were Shell. But, yeah. So, an AI will always follow its orders. An AI will always complete its orders. At any cost. So, if you say you have to test only on the patients, but have no staff tested on, and then they don't kill you. But if they've decided that their job to test everything could be concluded and more testing needs to be done, then they will go on to kill humans, to kill animals, to kill everything, because they cannot die. They are a machine. That's just one of the possibilities of how this could turn out. Not that I think Yui is at all programmed to do that, and she's just programmed to love. Which brings me on to my second point. It's just a program. Any love that Yui is bringing in is not real love. And this goes for any artificial intelligence. If this comes into reality, an AI cannot love. They can be programmed to love. Which is why we should never have terms like artificial intelligence rights or robot rights or things like that, because robots aren't humans. They are not sentient. They cannot think for themselves. They do what they are programmed for. Even if we give them things to make critical decisions like should they do this over this, and for instance, with GLaDOS's murdering of human beings over stopping the testing because they ran out of patients, or test subjects, is, that's a really bad thing to have been doing. But having that critical decision is all programmed into it. It's not real critical decision. They do not have a real personality. They have a programmed personality. Another horrible thing that could happen for them is that realization that you cannot completely, literally love them. I guess another series that really points out that sort of thing, that really drives that into the brains of the readers, is Chobits. When Freya comes in and tells, can't even remember the name, I haven't read the manga for a long time, Hideki, that Chi can't actually love her. Him, I mean. That any love she portrays is just learned, and the only reason she's learning is because she has a learning program installed. So she's programmed to learn and to love. She's basically programmed to be a human being. Well, not being a human being. She's programmed to emulate being a human being, and they explain why she was programmed for that in the manga and anime, I suppose. I haven't watched the anime, I've read the manga though. But, and the third thing, which is from a more recent video game, came out, I think, a year ago, Halo 4. They mentioned that AI only have a certain lifetime, which is true. AI do only have a certain lifetime. An AI will not last forever. Right now, because they're so primitive, they will last a very long time. The AI we have right now are just meant to literally do menial tasks that would take forever for a human to do, but very short times for a robot to do. That's all artificial intelligence does right now. But in the future, if we do have this sort of AI that's free-thinking, that's able to feel or emulate feeling, and is even meant to emulate being another human being or based off of an actual human, then they would have that very short lifespan, maybe 8 years. And as long as they're not being continuously updated over that 8 years, and continuously upgraded over that 8 years, I mean, well, they'll die. So another good possibility, which could lead to a huge amount of sadness for these characters, or for future human beings, is that the AI will die after a very short period of time, but a long enough period of time for you to grow attached. This is why I don't believe that we should make free-thinking AI, or AI that can make critical decisions. We've had enough movies, we've had enough shows, and we've had enough things that could show us the horrible aspects of it. The absolute worst. And I think the absolute worst is enough to avoid it. No matter how much good it can bring, there's not nearly enough good to counter the amount of bad it could bring. But what am I to say? I'm only some guy sitting on his computer in his mom's basement talking to people on YouTube. I have no say. But these have just been my thoughts. Needed to get them out of my head.